there's one thing I know about Mormons, it's that most of them are not using the internet to its fullest capacity, or they wouldn't be Mormon anymore because of all the information on it. But what they are good at doing is using the same internet to recruit, spew their easily debunked truth claims, and try to convince people they are happier and better than them in any way, shape, or form. And I'm sure the people I'm about to talk about are nice people. These are not personal attacks. They are examples of larger issues in Mormon culture. I do not care if these people saved children from a burning orphanage or found every cure to every disease known to man. It still doesn't make Mormonism true. Some might say using the word unhinged is dramatic and kind of mean, and it is, but some people think I'm unhinged, so you can make a video about me if you want to. Just let me know beforehand so I can send you some good pics. Mormons have this obsession with other Mormon celebrities as if it validates their beliefs and makes it more true or something. Don't worry about famous Scientologists or other religions. Those people are crazy. On one of the slides, it says, "It's amazing what can happen when you humble yourself and listen." And someone commented saying, "This seems a bit condescending. Not sure if I'm reading that wrong." You're not reading it wrong. It's meant to be condescending. Also, I could not find any confirmation of this dude being baptized yet or a date being set. He's interested in the church, and that's the whole thing. That's the news. Again, why not share news articles on famous Mormons leaving the church? Does that validate ex-Mormon beliefs? I know the ex-Mormon community was really excited when David Archuleta left the church, but it doesn't prove anything. He was just exposing the homophobia within the church and decided it's not a place for him anymore. Are you just as happy for David Archuleta as you are for Young Boy? Young Boy? I've never heard of this person. I only listen to Taylor Swift, sorry. So at first glance, this video is about a Mormon girl who waited for her missionary for 2 years and wrote him every day, and then he came back and they got married and lived happily ever after. So why should I have a problem with that? I don't. It's just not what happened. I was scrolling through the comments and I found her reply to another girl saying she dated other people while he was gone, which is normal and you should do that. But no waiting was done. You are not a hashtag missionary girlfriend or a hashtag long distance relationship. Unless they've changed the definition of girlfriend recently, from what I understand, you don't date other people while you're in a relationship. And I'm just using her as an example because I see this happen all the time. It's just so silly to me that girls will attach themselves to a missionary and call him my missionary. And he's literally not allowed to date anyone. And you're back living your best life, dating whoever you want, and you say you're waiting for him. And it's you didn't wait for him though. You happened to be single when he got home. And I am not hating on this person's marriage or whatever. This video would be cuter if there wasn't lying involved. Girl, I am so glad you were getting some, but just be honest from the get-go is all I'm saying.
Jesus may have turned water into wine, but he ain't turned your business into mine. Mind it!
Now, to be clear, I think this audio is funny, and I see the point she's trying to make, but I raise you this. Mormons are going around knocking on doors, convincing people that this religion is what will make you happy as long as you follow everything they tell you to do. Garments is one of those things. I am not telling you that if you don't wear garments, you are disobeying God's commandments. The Mormon church is saying that. Mormons that act like wearing garments is a personal choice it's just not according to the church. Don't argue with me. Argue with your religion. Now, do I think it's cool for a Mormon to post something in gym clothes, for example, and then another Mormon saying, wearing your garments? No, that's annoying and that's stupid and judgmental. But being confused about why people are asking why you aren't wearing your garments, where's the confusion coming from? There was one comment like, no one cares more than your middle-aged bishop. Yeah, because it's like a temple recommend interview question. Like, oh, it's so weird that your bishop cares. It's not the bishop, it's the church. The church is commanding you to wear certain underwear, and then you think it's weird when other Mormons question you about that. I guess I just don't get that.
This renowned scientist just found new evidence that God exists. And this guy is considered one of the greatest physicists of our time. His statement on the matter, to me it is clear that we exist in a plan which is governed by rules that were created, shaped by a universal intelligence and not by chance. Trust the science.
So I suggest, before you share an article on the internet, that you read it first. This scientist did not find evidence that God exists. That is a clickbait title. The website is called Moroni Channel, so it's like an LDS news source, not biased at all. The comments are amazing and it's full of ex-Mormons just roasting him. But it has 13,000 likes, and there ain't no way 13,000 people read this article. 13,000 believers just saw this and said, yes, I'm right. They liked it and they scrolled on and did no further research. I can do that too. Here is an article that says gingers are better lovers. Don't click on it, just trust me. Yes, I have. Have you read any of the research and evidence that it's not true? No? This is the same guy from the previous video. I have one more video to show from him. $1 billion is a lot of money. However, in context, it is only 1% of the $100 billion, probably more, that the church is hoarding for a rainy day, whatever that means. Mormons like math when it's convenient for them. When the SEC scandal recently happened and the church was fined $5 million for hiding like over $30 billion in investments, people were like, oh my gosh, it's like a parking ticket. It's a parking ticket to them. 5 million is nothing to them. But when it comes to this, when you pay $1 billion, it's still only 1% of their money. You don't want to do that math, but the church will command its members to pay 10% of their money to the church, but the church doesn't follow that same rule. They can keep most of the money to themselves, use it for whatever they want to, and 1% can go to whatever they need to look good.
Thank you so much for your question. So as many of you guys know, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but a lot of people know us from the nickname Mormon. For all of you wondering, yes, I am a Mormon, but that's not the title that we use. Our church is called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we call ourselves members of the Church of Jesus Christ. A lot of people know us from the nickname Mormons because we have a book of scriptures called the Book of Mormon. And Mormon was a prophet who was responsible for compiling all the records that made the Book of Mormon. But we don't go by that nickname because it's important for us to keep Jesus Christ in our title, because this is Jesus Christ's church and we follow Christ's teachings.
Now, I'm sure she's a nice girl. She seems like a sweetheart. She explains that Mormon is just a nickname, but what she leaves out is the multi-million-dollar campaign that the church did when I was growing up, where we embraced the term Mormon. And now the current president of the church, Russell M. Nelson, is like, saying Mormon is a win for Satan. If only we had prophets with the ability of foresight, and someone could have seen this coming.
In almost all my videos, I have a comment like this one, so let's talk about it. Do I personally agree with polygamy? No. Do I agree that marrying a 14-year-old girl was right? No. But can I still be a faithful, active member of my church? Yes. So let's talk about the facts. We first need to understand that we are judging history with modern culture and understanding. The earliest age of consent law is from 1885, in which the age of consent is from 10 to 12 years old. Even though it wasn't common to marry that young, it was still legal. Helen and Joseph were sealed 13 months before Joseph was killed, and during those 13 months, Helen lived at home with her parents. There's no record that she lived with or was intimate with Joseph Smith. After Joseph's death, she remarried and continued to practice polygamy. Helen even wrote a book defending polygamy, and she died as a faithful Latter-day Saint. Although many of us don't agree with what happened in the past, when you put context in the situation, it helps you have a better understanding.
The only context that she gives for polygamy is that it was legal. Slavery was also legal. What's your point, babe? Marrying teenagers was not common, and people knew back then that it was wrong. There is no context in which an almost 40-year-old man marrying a 14-year-old is okay. No context. And if you don't personally believe in the principle of polygamy, you do not believe Joseph Smith was a prophet. He received a revelation from God that polygamy was the new covenant and it was an eternal principle. It is still practiced in the temple today, and men can be married to as many women as they want in the temple. Women can only be married to one man in the temple. So Mormons do believe polygamy will be practiced in the next life. If you do not believe in polygamy, you do not believe in your church. Again, argue with them, not with me. I have an entire video on Joseph Smith y'all can watch. He was a creep, and God was not telling him to marry little girls. I'm sorry about it. I saved this for last because it's a lot. If you don't know who Taylor Frankie Paul is, she is a Mormon influencer on TikTok with 4 million followers, and you might know from some viral videos, she went through a huge scandal where essentially she was in an open marriage and cheated on her spouse, and then she went through a very public divorce because she posts every facet of her life on the internet. That's the only reason I know this. Everything I've learned about her has been against my will. And then recently she was arrested on DV charges and has continued posting on TikTok like nothing has happened. Including receiving sponsorships. Now, all of that is problematic in itself. Someone truly needs to take her phone away, preferably the police. But the video I want to talk about is this one, which is part of a trend that went around. So Taylor claims that she believes in her religion, but she is just imperfect like everyone else, and I call bullshit. Now, I'm not the one gatekeeping Mormonism. The Mormon Church gatekeeps Mormonism. I get that no one is perfect, but she is rejecting every core tenet of Mormonism. She's rejecting the word of wisdom, the law of chastity, the temple, the eternal family unit. All are required commandments to get into the highest level of Mormon heaven. In my opinion, it seems that instead of struggling with these things, she is actively choosing to do them because she doesn't feel bad. The church is telling her these things are bad, but she personally does not have those same convictions because they're just made up rules. They're not real. None of the problems she listed are real life problems except the alcohol, which, side note, her current boyfriend is a recovering addict. And he's very open about that on his TikTok page. And he's the one who witnessed and pressed charges against her for throwing a chair at him that hit her 5-year-old daughter in the head. And they're still together. I think there's one of two things happening. One, she wants to stay Mormon because it feels comfortable to her. She's terrified of the implication that if she leaves, she can never be with her family again in heaven, and the social shunning that would come if she officially left. Two, she has mentally left the church and is just using the Mormon act for clout on TikTok, but won't leave because of the outrage and attention and views and money that it makes her. Here's another example of this trend. This one is more heartbreaking because obviously there's nothing wrong with being gay. It's not something you need to struggle with. It is something the church tells you you need to struggle with. And there are so many people like him who are gay and choose to stay in the church while they are continuously told horrible things about themselves And it just sounds so painful. I really hope he finds happiness. And I'm not going to sit here and tell him he's not happy, because I don't like when members say that ex-Mormons are not happy. If the church makes him happy, that's great. I just think belonging to a homophobic organization that continuously tells you that you're bad and wrong, that has to take an emotional toll on him. Obviously, I hope he gets out, but I'm not going to tell anyone how to live their lives, unlike Mormons. That's the end of this video. Let me know what other content you guys want to see. I have a lot of ideas, but I would love to know what you guys are interested in hearing about. I'd like to bear my testimony that I know Taylor Swift is a goddess, and believing in her is the true way to happiness in this life and in the next. Okay, bye!